it in the Who Would It? Welcome back to the collective clips where you already know we get it in. But before we get it in, let's hit that like and subscribe button. Ding! Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directed in the direction of the dope content I'm kicking. And I highly appreciate all the support, man. We're going up on this channel and it's all because of you. And for that, I can say I'm very humbled. I know I wouldn't do it without you and I'm very much so appreciative. So thank you so much. So, Super Norteno, right? You know, I've been doing these videos for a while now and everyone keeps asking for them because they want to laugh. Laugh with me, not at me, right? Laugh at me. I don't give a shit. Laugh with my family. My family's triumphs, their turmoils, right? Their grief. But, you know, I think everybody could identify because we all have members of the family that are either tecatos, that are all J-catted out, that just have it rough, hood rats, whatever, right? And this is real true. You know, but there's two sides to every family. You know, I have my mother's side, my father's side, right? My father's side, the ghetto, right? Ghetto fabulous. Roaches. We're related to the roaches on that side. On the other side of my family, all hard workers. You know, my grandfather came from Mexico, Zacatecas, and got straight to the program. Straight to the program, right? And raised all his sons the right way, his daughters the right way. And so it's like living two sides of every coin. You know, when I'm around one side of the family, it's dum, 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 dum. And then when I'm living on the other side, or with the other side of the family, it's also dum, with a different type of twist. But I kind of wanted to give a background when we were younger on my primos, okay? Pepe and Ricky, and of course some of the bullshit that they went through. You know, because we all laugh at how they are. And, you know, one of these days I'll get them to come on here with me when, you know, Pepe's locked up right now. And Ricky's fucking twirling some signs somewhere in fucking Los Baños, right? But that's just how they do it. It's how their life ended up. And you know, Way Charles could see that shit coming. We all had different moments in life where we had a lot of experiences we went through. But I remember as kids, man, you know, people like Ricky, Super Norteno, right? Didn't really have a chance. Didn't have the same opportunities. See, let me give you guys a little bit of a background on Rick, right? So Rick was born a heroin baby. Okay, for those of you that don't know what that is, that means his mother, my tia, was addicted like a motherfucker, right? When he was, you know, made. And, you know, he had a good father. I remember his father, he looked identical. Straight up catfish. The motherfuckers looked like catfish, right? I remember his dad was from Livingston. It's a little town in Merced County, right? And he used to come through, you know, on the weekends, because my grandmother raised Ricky, man, because my tia was in and out of prison with her addiction. She was doing her thing. You know my tia, man. Shut up, fuckface. Don't speak on my business, bitch, right? She was going through her shit for a lot of years, right? But let me tell you how everything ends up. So my cousin Ricky, when he was born, he was so small. I remember they could fit his ass in a shoebox. Real talk. You know, he was born messed up. Slow, but he had like ADHD. He was on his lefty gunplate shit, right? He was bouncing all over the walls, eyes rolling back in his head. And I remember as little kids, man, we couldn't stand some Ricky, right? That little motherfucker right there would be just giving us the blues. Because my grandmother, I come from one of those old Mexicano families where my grandma had all the food cooked in the morning. By the morning time when you woke up, everything was on the stove or in the oven ready to go. And you better fucking leave her alone. It was her and her little fellow roaches, and they used to sit on the couch all day and watch novelas. That was the get down at my grandmother's house. Don't try to think you're slick and come in loud, because she's going to chop that shit down quick. My grandma was ghetto real, right? She's passed now, but she wasn't the one to play with. She raised a family full of gang members. And that's just the way that was, right? Came out that way. But I remember as a kid, she used to always go to bingo on Thursday and Friday nights, and then the weekends was the club, right? The bar. They used to go to this bar called the Bullfrog, right? They used to go, her and all my tias used to go and tear that motherfucker down, right? And so it was up to me and my primo Ruben, Boo Boo Face, we used to call him, to watch Ricky, right? And we used to watch him, man, and I'm not gonna lie, that motherfucker would be bouncing off the walls. We used to throw his little ass in the closet. Get your ass in there, man. You'll come out when right before grandma comes, right? And they say we were mean, we were bullying. And yeah, now looking at it as kids, we were crazy, right? Doing that. But we just couldn't control him. He was over the top. And so as we got older, man, his life took twists and turns. His father passed. He had really no one to turn to. When my grandmother passed, I think that was the ultimate for him. You know, he had this gravitation towards ugly fat women, right? And now look, nothing against fat chicks or even ugly chicks, but that's just the fucking way it was. You know, he had that gravitation, that pull. And in came a couple other baby mamas, allegedly, and all kinds of wild shit. But then Sheila was the one that grounded him. And I know you guys say, wow, him and Sheila, man, they had a crazy relationship, or they can, because they're still together, continue to have a crazy relationship. And they do. Believe me, I told him many times, leave that bitch at Burger King, right? But I understood that she was his whole reason for pushing on. That was his chick right there, right? And they went through CPS things. They went through getting high together. They went through cheating on each other. They went through spousal abuse. They went through domestic violence type shit. They went through everything you could think of. And you got to understand, with my cousin, we all bear with him in the family because he's a little out there. Now, I think two things is what made him and defines him, right? When he found the Norteno movement, it became his everything. Whooping, right? It became his whopping. It wasn't a optical illusion what he was aiming for, right? He found something to hold on to, like in Vogue. He grasped it, and that was his thing. And, you know, he went through a lot of shit. I got a lot of love for my primo because, you know, in the family, he's not the black sheep, but the brown shit, right? The one nobody ever wants to, you know, be around because they think he's doing too much. But he ain't no sucker, man. He ain't no punk. He might be crazy at times. He might be stupider than the next man, but he's not a punk whatsoever. And I always liked that about him. He stood on principles. He stood on his morals. He stood on what he believed in. Couldn't take that from him. That was the cousin Rick, right? And even now, man, with all the shit that he went through, and I never blamed him. I mean, he started out bad. Some people are raised or born with a silver spoon in their mouth. This Vato was born with caca smeared all over his face, right? He had it bad from the gate. And the love he shows his mother, the concern, right? Even to this day, you know, it's tremendous. It's amazing because, you know, most people would felt some type of way about it, but he didn't. You know, he took care of his mother. And all the years that she never took care of him, and believe me, she was too busy at the bar with the paisas, kicking it in and out of Chowchilla prison, doing her thing. She never had time for her kids, right? She never had time for Ricky, especially. He was like a burden. He was like the fucking baby no one wanted, right? But my grandmother, as tough as she was, she raised him until he was old enough to realize and decide what he wanted to do. And the first thing he wanted to do was be with his moms and help his moms, right? And so he went to that fucking beat up old fucking shack out there they have in Gustine and lived and paid bills, right? So I can't knock that man. He's funny. He does some crazy shit. We have a gang of adventures. I have a lot more to tell you. But as a kid, I used to beat his motherfucking ass, right? Straight up. You know, I'm a few years older than Rick, so he's always going to be the little primo in my eyes, and he's always going to respect it. And that's one thing about me and him. Regardless the dropout shit, oh, you're not active, and he was all super dedicated to the North End, still is, right? He knew what it was. He knew what family was and what came first. Sometimes, right? Motherfucker, hey, if he's on a good one, leave him alone. Rick is he's a Terminator, right? He's trying to seek and destroy everything in his path. Now, let's talk about Pepe. Peps, big Pepster, eh? Says, can I get at you? Fuck, I hope not, because every time you get at me, my wallet goes, right? He, on the other hand, was raised differently. See, he had his mother and his father in his life the whole time, right? It wasn't until quite recently, I say about 10 years ago, that my tia finally decided to kick that bum to the curb, right? Which is Pepe's father. But, you know, she raised her 3 children. And my tia was ghetto, came from straight ghetto shit and moved. She thought she upgraded. She moved to Compton, right? She met this dude. They bounced to Compton. That was it, right? So she still had that Northern California swag in her. She always was, you know, running around the streets of Oakland, Frisco, Salas, Merced, all that. She took that mentality and that style up to Compton, right? Or down to Compton. Hey, it's not up there. It's down here. Don't get us fucked up. We don't smell like shit, right? And I remember Pepe, man. He was older than me. And I remember as a kid looking up to him, I wanted to be like him because he had all the bomb toys. He had all the good shit. I remember that was the tia. We used to go to her pad. We used to travel, right? And go out there. Albeit it was Compton. It was ghetto neighborhood. It was barrio, right? This is way before we were gangbanging. We were kids running around there. And they always had the nice pad. He had the good fucking wrestlers and all that shit, right? So I always wanted to go there and steal what I could. You know, because I came from nothing. Me, myself, you know, compared to what Pepe grew up to be, he did that by choice. He did that by environment, right? All that, hey, I need to get weller, right? It's the lifestyle we live as Chicanos, right? You know, when your environment, when everyone's getting high around you and you become a part of something bigger than yourself, then you indulge or you don't. See, I never had that issue. That was never my problem. I got ingrained, and we're going to get back to Peps right now. I got ingrained into the Norteno lifestyle, straight edge style, right? I didn't want to get high. I mean, I've tried everything just like anyone else. Except for that black, man, that shit killed too many members of my family, right? I just never was, it never intrigued me. You know, I was like, damn, I ain't putting no fucking needles in my body, right? That's what's never going to happen. Now I'm a diabetic. I have to do it every week. But I'm just saying, I was like, nah, I'm cool with all that shit. The only fucking needles going is ataca, tattoo needles. That's it. And even then, I didn't want to get them in the beginning. But I grew up different. I grew up with a single mother, man. I grew up my father in and out of prison. My father was a gangster, right? Thug. You know, I grew up with, did I have opportunity and chance? I did. But I wanted to go to the streets. I was looking for that. That was what brought me home, right? That was my shit. So I fell into that lifestyle, and quickly I realized that not everybody was in it for the same reason. See, I'm thinking we're all on the same page, but homie, we weren't even in the same motherfucking book, right? And as my lifestyle took its twists and turns, I realized over time that a lot of the things I was indoctrinated with and educated with and told about the cause I was pushing for didn't work out quite well for me. And my career took its fucking turn and wherever, right? And I can live with that. To the day I die, I'm going to live with that. And that's fine with me. But back to Pepe, he had it good, man. He had it better than all of us, way better than Ricky. Ricky had it worse than all of us. Super Norteno, it was all bad for him. Very, very bad, man. You know, it was even to a point where he lived with me so many different times because he had nowhere to go, right? Shit, we had nowhere to go together. We were homeless together. I tell him, just stay out here outside the bar while I go in there and knock a fat bitch so we have somewhere to stay for the night. Yeah, we went through some rough times, but I'm not going to sit here and say our life was rougher than anyone else's because everybody goes through their bullshit and their shenanigans, right? But we did our shit. Now, Pepe, on the other hand, was over there fucking the king of Compton, right? He was over there living his best life. Daddy fucking giving him whatever he wants. Mom fucking cooking tortillas and frijoles. And then, of course, my other two cousins, one of them, you know, went full fucking fledged fucking, I don't know what you call him. Fucking, he's, I don't know what he identifies as, a cat or whatever the fuck he is. If it is, it's a gay cat because that's where he went, right? My other primo, he's probably turned out the most normal because he understood what it was to gangbang and what it was around him. And so he's like probably the most normal one out of all of us, right? And even then, he's a pothead, right? He's a weed head. That fool can't wake up without smoking a joint. But Pepe, being older than us, he found himself in the barrio in them times when all the Chicanos, Mexicanos around there were getting high. And he fell into that spoon. He fell, hey, oh, it's my spoon with bones right there. Yeah, he fell, well, whatever spoon he fell into the deep end, okay? It was wet at them in them times. And so the family for a long time turned their back on Pepe. I remember, man, we didn't even say his name. No one wanted to fuck with him because it was like a bad look. You know, it was a bad look. And me having several tias that were involved in that shit, and then now Pepe and other primas, you know, and primos that were involved, I just didn't want nothing to do with them for the longest, right? And at that point in time, I was super high power active. So I didn't want nothing to do with them. See, I was under the assumption I didn't give a fuck if you were my family. He didn't care if I was family. We were the opposite side of the track, and we were going to hit each other with the track if we seen each other. So there was many years we didn't fuck with each other. But as we got older, we started to realize that blood is thicker than water. Family comes first, right? Or in his case, black comes first, then family. So I could tell you, man, he's been through his shit too, though. You know, when the family turned, it's like blood in, blood out. When the family turned their back on Crucito, right? Same thing. He went through the same thing. Everyone shunned him. No one wanted anything to do with him. And he had to make it out there on the streets of Compton. I could only imagine, right? Some of the things that he's seen, he went through. And now all three of us, me, myself, and Ricky, and there's so many other cousins I'm introducing to the series. I've just introduced Prima Brianna. You don't even know. Her shit's that big. And I'll let you imagine what I'm talking about, right? Her shit, kids fall out of her shit. She's the kid making factor. Her shit she just pushes them out there, right? She has bulldog kids, Asian kids. Her name is Dashiki. Are you my daddy? Shit. Sometimes you have to ask if that's your mommy, because if that is, ooh, wait. I can only imagine her children right now, the ones that are in middle school, they're embarrassed like a motherfucker. She's going to be mad as fuck. I don't care. It's the truth. damn, she was a straight tirada back then, and she's a now. You know, my family's ridiculous, but Pepe, he's seen tragedy. He's seen things. Here's a story about him, man. When he was younger, his best friend got killed, right? Got shot in front of him. That shit changed him. That shit changed him for the longest. That fool, we thought we were gonna lose him. That fool went deep, dark into the spoon, like pura, right? And I remember my kid, we had like a family, like an intervention. You know, one of my older primos, he's no longer with us, right? He was a super OG, triple OG, super OG, right? That fool beat the shit out of Pepe in the front yard and said, get off that shit, bro. Ain't no, he gave him tough love, right? Changed him. But I could see the vacancy in his eyes. I could see Pepe, he's always sad. Every time I see him, he's struggling. Hey, let me get you, can I have one lakh? Can I have 21 lakh? Hey, I'm doing dirt bad. Yeah, you're always doing dirt bad, bro. But as a kid, you had more opportunity than us. You just threw it away. So sometimes I get pissed at him. But I remember, you know, when he lost his friend and how he was going through shit and how everyone turned their back on him. So that's why I look out for him. True stories, right? This fool's going to get out soon. When he does get out, first thing he's going to say is, Primo, I'm out. I seen that bullshit you did on me on YouTube. You owe me 100 wala. Right? Straight up. I know. It's fact. We were all three incarcerated constantly. Okay? Me, myself, I think I was the very first one because I went to the youth authority. Pepe didn't go to YA, neither did Ricky, right? No, I'm lying. Ricky did go to the YA. He ended up going to Chad later on. Later on he did, but that was when Chad wasn't Chad no more, right? That's when Rico Two Spoon and them were fighting in Chad and shit like that. Shit like that. He went in the 2000s. I was already doing prison time, and then later on he went to prison and stuff. But we all did prison time. We all, you know, functioned to some type of degree. And you let them tell their stories. They were super high powered, whacking everyone, only they never went to the shoe, right? You know what I mean? Straight on their Wes Watson shit. But, you know, that's a little background in history. When I tell you about these characters, they're all real. It's all facts. These characters they're all based on my primos, Rick and my primo Pepe. And I got a lot of love for them guys. You know, Pepe's not as bad as he used to be. That's only because he's always doing violations. He's always incarcerated. And he gets out and his mentality is always a little bit more better, you know, until he gets right back into the mix. As far as Ricky, you know, I'm proud of him. He now has his full custody of his kids with his old lady. They still living with my tia and I beat up ass Shaq, but he's living, man. He actually works and getting Social Security on the side, right? He's doing his thing. So I can't be mad at him. But I definitely tapped in with them and he will be coming on the live eventually. I will be doing an interview or the live. I don't know. Whenever he has time. Hey, well, Ben, I'm too busy. Plus you're not active. I want to get whack fucking with you. Stop it, right? As far as Pepe goes, I don't even know if he knows that I'm doing these videos yet, to be honest with you. And I don't care. This motherfucker owes me so much money. This is a down payment on what he owes me. Anyways, man, I just wanted to put out there, give you guys a little background. I will be doing more Super Norteños. This will be the last episode in season 2. We will get to season 3 starting mañana. I got a very, very funny one, man. You guys are gonna shit your pants. This one's gonna be so funny. But I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a serio history on them because, you know, I know people think, oh man, I got family that's just like them. There's reasons why they're like that. They just weren't born stupid, right? It took a long time to get that. They worked hard for it. And I'm not smarter. I'm not just a little bit more smarter than them. Believe me. I've had my days, right? There's been things that we went through. I think tomorrow I'm going to tell you an adventure we got in as kids, right? How I had to fucking save Pepe's life because it was all bad. These black dudes were going to, for one moment, I thought they were going to take his cachettes. I thought they were going to take his whole cheeks. He was in Iraq and 2 black guys, we call that a hard place, right? So with that being said, a little background history, man. We're going to get to Sheila's history. Sheila has it. Man, she had it bad. You know, Sheila, I sit there, I talk shit about her because she is a fat hood rat, right? But, I remember when I found out like really what went on with her and her family and why her mom treats her like she does and everything. And I just tripped. My tia, that's a whole different story. She's been getting high since before I was born. If I could sit here and try to tell you why she turned out the way, I'll tell you why. She likes chorra. That's it. There ain't no ifs, ands, buts about it. My tia fucking, I got it good, man. I fucking like twisting and turning on the knob. You got it? You call it like me? You got it on the knob? Right? That's her. So anyways, with that being said, up to Chamus Move with a purpose. Get everything that you want coming. And remember, at the end of the day, man, everybody is real, man. Everybody has stories, man. It's up for you to how you interpret them. We all got families so we can identify, and the shit don't stop. Season 3 is gonna be a banger. Watch. Oh shit, you guys don't even know. I'm gonna bring Super Serio Paisa Primo into the mix, and he's gonna be like, "Porque?" The gun. Bang bang.